Well, I sat down over here by the camera this morning, and sure enough, what happened? Gracie Cat shows up, right, Gracie? He says, "You haven't been doing too many videos lately. Let's do some." All right.
Well, all right, folks. The viewers have spoken. Yeah, for the most part, almost everybody said, "Hey, keep it up and go ahead. Put the videos back, please." All right, I did. I left out maybe about 100 of them, but there were things mostly that were dated, like things about the orchid show, or things about the Big Island nursery sale and that stuff that's over. So stuff that's over. Oh, stuff where I was talking about Christmas a year ago, I left all that off too. It's not there. It's kind of irrelevant. I also left off most of my ghost stories, UFO stories, and paranormal stuff. I left a little bit of it, but I have a small group of individuals out there that just love it when I talk about that stuff, and the rest of the people are going, "Stop talking about UFOs!" Yeah, so, anyway, I'll put them all together in a little box, and maybe I'll post them on Halloween or something, okay? But they're not there anymore. Otherwise, most everything else went back. But, well, I had so many people telling me that I make a difference in their life, that they enjoy listening to the videos. I even had a couple of people, one most notably, let me know that they changed their mind about something after listening to me. Wow, that's beyond, okay. My firm conviction is I can't change the way you think. You have to do it. Well, then the case, the man obviously did change the way he thought. But after listening to something I had to say, I don't know what it was all about. But I apparently influenced someone. I'm a social media influencer. Where's my lipstick? Let's try one of those face peels. Yeah, but it won't do me any good. Oh, my hide had come right off with it, I'm afraid. Cucumber slices won't help this face. That'd be a trip. Anyway, so I had a lot of people tell me that, well, they like me, or they want me here, or, in a matter of speaking, they said, "We need you." Some of them actually did say something on that order. Well, the truth is, I need you. This is a gardening channel. Yeah, it is basically gardening. I talk about plants most of the time, and about land and soils and stuff like that most of the time. But, none of that exists unless there is a peaceful context, unless there is a good social structure wrapped around it. People in Gaza are having a hard time gardening this morning. The same goes for Ukraine, and whatnot. Yeah, you need social order. And I fear what I see today. It's the only reason that I come on here and talk about anything else besides tomatoes and apples and citrus. It scares me, because none of what I do here exists unless it has the context, the matrix that it can sit within. And a lawful, organized society that has direction and purpose and has good leadership is what it takes to have a place where you can grow good crops and good gardens. Now, the leadership has nothing to do with the weather and the climate, which is entirely another thing, which is disturbing me, because weather's changing on us. It takes nice, steady climates to be able to grow good crops, to be able to make a strong nation which sits with agriculture at its base. I don't care if somebody wants to tell you that oil and coal or whatever is the basis of our economy. It's an important contribution, but we are still at the basis an agricultural economy. The Great Depression occurred during the 1920s on the farm. It just spread to the stock market and the rest of the country later. So the depression in the agricultural community during the 1920s is what caused the rest of the country to go down the tubes later. We're seeing similar problems right now. Of course, we all know there's some economic difficulties. Borrowing money is very expensive at the moment, and everything seems to be quite expensive, although we can look forward to the fact that the Fed has said that they will begin to lower interest rates in the next year. That's good news. Yeah, it's pretty good news. But, the farmer, even if he can pay the loan, and the farmer, even if he can afford to buy his seed, well, you can plant the crop, but if the weather comes through and floods it, or tears it out with a tornado, or burns it through a drought, you don't get any yield. You don't get anything out of it, so it's a complete loss. This is very, 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 very important. The climate deniers out there, the people who claim that there is no problem whatsoever, it's a Chinese myth and all this crap, they're overlooking the fact that the farmer relies on that weather. You may think you're a big high-tech space-age society, buddy, but a corn seed is still put in the earth. Yeah. That hasn't changed very much. The way we harvest, the way we plant, some of the chemicals and things we use, the varieties, things have changed some, but it hasn't changed much in the last 5,000 years. You got rid of the ox and you got a diesel tractor, whatever. You stopped using a sharp stick and you got a 6-bottom mold-board steel plow, But, I need you. That's what I need, okay? Because I'm a voice in the wilderness screaming. Oh, yeah, I make it onto your computers and TV sets. You hear it. You listen, obviously. Otherwise, you wouldn't have responded when I started having a fit about the channel. But, what actually are you doing about it? In some cases, all we can really do is keep our mouths open. Oh, Gracie, huh? Oh, my kitty says, Bill. She doesn't usually come up and meow at me when I'm doing a video. This is serious. Well, this is serious. What's up, girl? Huh? What's up? What's up? I think she's upset. Yesterday, while I was out here, I saw probably a small rat, I think, run across the carport and head towards my bananas that I was ripening. And when I looked, I found 2 bananas chewed on. Going, oh, man, where's my cat? Gracie was nowhere around. Well, this morning she come to the front porch carrying that rat. She had that thing. But, well, in the process of her playing around with the thing, it got away into the landscape, and I think that's what she's crying about. She's trying to find that rat. Right? Right, girl? She's a good cat. Well, it was Arlo Guthrie, Alice's Restaurant. Yeah, most of you know. Well, you can get anything you want at Alice's Restaurant. Thanksgiving tradition, it seems, on some of the radio stations they play that one. Somewhere in there in the General Massacre, he had mentioned about going through the draft board and how one person is just a voice, 2 people, well, that's a pair, but you get 3 people together and you got a movement. Guthrie was right. You get a group of people speaking, you organize a movement, and you can get things done. I've done it before in this country when I stood up against things that I didn't care for. It may or may not work, but at least you need to try. And there's some very frightening things happening right now. Yeah, you have this whole thing going on where the far fascist right of the Republican Party has allied itself with evangelical Christianity, and that should never have happened in this country. The people we elected for leaders should have honored our traditions to the extent to realize that you don't mix church and state together. Church and state mixed together is what Iran has. It's a theology, okay? It's a theological form of government. You don't want that here. You don't want that here. Americans have tremendous freedoms, and this religious movement into government, all it's doing is taking away freedoms that we had. If they get the government stacked with people that can follow this kind of bidding, religion does not belong in our government. There's no place there. Government is one thing, religion's another. Both of them are human illusions. Both of them we invented, we created, but they don't mix well. Yeah. I'm not even going to go deeper into why that might be, but I think most of you understand the problems here. When we think the president was trying to throw a revolution, well, it ends up in the courts and the lawyers. We have judges. We have people that will determine whether there was actually a tort there or not, whether this actually followed the laws or whether it was a violation. We have systems for dealing with things within government and politics. In religion, you don't have any of that. You have none of it. You have to imagine that God exists. You have to imagine that God's laws are, to be followed. You have to imagine all of this. It's entirely imaginary. There's no part of it that can be verified. If you don't like the way things were going on Earth, you thought the climate was messy, you ruined your house down in Mississippi. So what do? Take God to court? You try to sue for bad weather? You can't do any of that. Of course, the religious will say, well, we can appeal to God with prayer. Yeah, well, I can talk all I want to a 6-foot-tall pink bunny rabbit that sits in my closet, but it's not going to do any good. That's just what I refer to as deferment in religion. It's one of the major problems with it. Other than, your critical thinking has to go out the window, because otherwise, if you question these beliefs, you are a heretic. And so you're no longer part of the organized religion when you do that. It basically is using an ice pick to give yourself a frontal lobotomy as far as your logic circuits are concerned. God gives you the whole package. It's right there. That's the way it is. Don't question it. Well, that's not true in government, though. These things are actually diametrically opposed to one another. One you cannot question. The other one you have systems to question. You mix those together and see what has just happened. You lost your ability to question your government because your government represents God the Almighty. It's a bad situation. It's a very bad situation. It's particularly bad for guys like me, for instance, who I love my freedoms. And I think you all ought to be able to do pretty much whatever you want to out there, as long as your fist stops where my nose begins. That's pretty much the way I see law. Yeah. I don't like Nazis, okay? I don't like a whole lot of things I see in our society. But as far as I'm concerned, they have the right to exist here. As long as they don't start causing trouble for the rest of us. That's really what it boils down to. When they start to create issues that upset the society and start to disturb the social order, and so on, then maybe it's time we need to start to come down on some of it. But in the case of, a woman's right to choose what she does with her own body, this does not affect the social order in our nation. What does affect the social order is someone telling a woman that she can't control what happens with her own body. That messes with the social order here, because we've been able to. Same goes for all of this stuff. Religion is dogma. I don't live by dogma. I live by what I call natural order, natural law. I can smell what's right here in the air as far as I'm concerned. The planet dictates what the natural way of living here is. And the religious way does not follow the natural order. It doesn't fit. And in cases, the political way doesn't either. Yeah. So you don't want to get too involved in either of them, but they're out there nevertheless, so they are important. I have people all the time say, oh, no, I just go out to my garden. I don't want to hear that stuff, about politics or that. Well, I am not political. I do not have a political viewpoint. I have no actual belief systems. I will say it over and over and over again. I do not ally myself with groups. I don't join organizations. I'm a lone wolf, dudes. Me and my camera, I'm out here yelling at you people. That's all I need. I don't need a political party. When people tell me you drink liberal Kool-Aid, I'm sorry. It just so happens that there are a lot of things about liberal politics that are also the same as natural law and natural order. For one, it's natural to give a hand up to somebody when they might need it. That's natural. It's also a leftist idea. There's many things. Anyway, so I had a whole lot of you get back to me and tell me, well, Bill, we really need you here. All right, I'm here. But as I warned you, I'm getting old. And even if I don't drop over and pass away, stop breathing, start stinking, even if that doesn't happen, with every year, I lose a little bit more of my energy. And man, for me, my energy was everything. And as it wears away, it gets harder and harder and harder to continue things that are disagreeable. And boy, I'll tell you, this is disagreeable. I don't like having the feeling that I have to do this, but I do feel obligated. I really feel we need to open our mouths and we need to engage ourselves. We need to stop what is happening here. Yes, we need to put it down. If we can't do it by ourselves through grassroots movements, and we obviously did not do it through the way we elected the people we put in office, or through the way that everything was gerrymandered. I don't know, how all that is, but it appears that if there is any hope at all at the moment, it's going to be the courts. It's going to be the legal system that's going to allow us to keep our nation. And it certainly isn't on the backs of them people with the red hats running around screaming about Trump. The guy's a scumbag, he's a criminal, and the people following him around, there's something wrong with him. I wish I knew. I wish I had an answer there. I wish there was some way you could get through to him to go, you don't see the problem here? You don't notice what's going on, But you can't. I can't, Yeah, they hate me. I don't like them either. No, don't like them. Oh, you maggots, go away. You people bug me. You're not a political group as much as you are an emotional illness of some sort, reflecting the emotional problem your narcissist boss exudes. I guess it's kind of, what do they call it, codependency in psychology. You got one person out there that loves to beat, you got another one loves to be beat on. They're a perfect couple. That's sort of the way this Trumpian politics is working. Yeah, it's kind of a codependency of sickness. It's not well. One of his latest comments, that the immigrants are poisoning our nation. This is Nazi speak, people. Yeah, this is Nazi speak. Guess what? We're all immigrants here. I was born here, yeah, but there wasn't a single person, as far as we can see, according to archaeology, that actually originated here. And I don't want to step on Native American toes, but even you folks came from somewhere else at one point in time. Yeah, you were here before the Europeans, yeah. Yeah, Polynesians were here on this island before the Europeans got here. So some groups get first, but everybody pretty much is an immigrant everywhere except what? The Garden of Eden, wherever the heck that was, because people are always moving around. It's normal, and we've been told before, at least we used to say, that our strength was in a nation of immigrants, that the mixed pool of genetics, the mixed pool of ideas was stimulating. Okay, and it's one thing that made our country great. Well, I don't know, all of a sudden now, yeah, there are definitely problems at the border. I'm not saying there are no problems in immigration. Don't get me wrong. There's trouble in River City here, but the idea that somehow these people coming here are poisoning this nation, that's ugly speak, man. And that would mean that everybody else that came here before also poisoned this nation. You understand that this Trumpian doctrine stuff, it doesn't make any sense when you break down the logic in it. It has no logic. All it does is appeal to the baser instincts of humans that are frightened and angry. If you're frightened, if you're angry, Trump's your guy. Yeah, it's a codependent relationship. Oh well. Hey, hang loose. Aloha all. Gracie's coming back for another round down here, huh? What'd you think, girl? What should we do next? Did you find that mouse? Huh? You still looking for him? She's still looking for her mouse. So, for all you Gracie Cat lovers, here she is. Hey Gracie, say hi to the people, huh?